jüdische Mann, es gibt nicht besser in der Welt. Jüdische Mann, oi wei wie bitter, wenn sie fällt.
Today, 77% of what is being performed here is based on new original Israeli plays. We have, all the classics and all the musicals, but 77% is original dramaturgy. And within it, there are two central preoccupations which can be easily pointed out. One is, of course, what we call the situation, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the political issue in our neighborhood. We have many plays which deal with that. And the other one is, understandably, the Holocaust, which interests us tonight. At any given time, you can find a Holocaust play on our stages. There are over 100 Israeli original plays which can be categorized as Holocaust plays. There is no any other event or theme which even gets close to these numbers, 100 plays. And maybe it may sound bizarre, but I would say that the Holocaust is undoubtedly the most popular theme or subject in Israeli playwriting and in Israeli dramaturgy. This number maybe shouldn't surprise us, taking into consideration that drama has always found extreme situations very alluring, and the horrors of the Holocaust offer very fertile grounds with dramatic materials, and the Israeli playwrights do tend to use these materials and keep coming back to the scene of the crime of the Holocaust and World War II. You know what? It just popped into my memory now, so I'll start maybe with this. But I have a wonderful story which I keep telling, which actually took place in South Africa. In 2010, we performed The Timekeepers, which I'll come back to it later, a wonderful Holocaust play by the American Dan Clancy, and we performed it in South Africa at the theater on the square in Joburg. I do hope that Daphne is here. Maybe she remembers that night. And after each show, we used to have a Q&A, a discussion, a post-show discussion with the audience. And I especially remember one night when a lady, South Africa was the first country we performed this Holocaust play, which the vast majority of the audience barely had any relation to the Holocaust or to World War II. It wasn't, in Europe like we did it in Germany, in Poland, in Greece. It was the first time that we came to South Africa, and some post-show discussions were even longer than the show itself. For some people, it was their first encounter, with the concentration camps, with the different, the Jewish yellow star, the pink triangle of the homosexuals, whatever this play speaks about. And some days the post-show discussions were some like history classes, we filled the gaps. And one specific night, I remember a lady who asked for the microphone stood up and said, well, it's a very well play. You are all superb actors, but I really don't see the point in you coming all the way from Israel here with another Holocaust play. Come on, guys, it's been 70 years now. Why do you insist going back to the Holocaust and bringing us another Holocaust drama? Why don't you move on? That was her question. Why don't you move on? We all very well aware that situation nowadays in Israel, politically wise, is very much different. What are you trying to do? Get us all feel guilty, the whole world feel guilty and sympathize with you? Move on, guys. Bring us something else from Israel. And she was very articulate and very persuasive, and she managed to transform the whole vibe pretty much against us. Up to this point, it was very positive. And you could feel people, start to squirm in their seats, thinking to themselves, well, maybe we have been manipulated by these Israelis coming back with another Holocaust story. And everyone looked at me, and I was a bit embarrassed. And I remember I said to her, look, lady, to the best, I always believe that the customer is always right. And if you find our piece a bit anachronistic, I can only feel sorry. But on the other hand, please, may I ask you a question? And she said, sure, go ahead. And I asked her, are you Jewish yourself? And she said, no, I'm Christian. And then I said, I don't know where I took it from. Victor, by the way, loved this story, and I gave him the permission to use it afterwards. I told her, well, look, lady, no offense, please, but you are Christian. To the best of my knowledge, some 2,000 years ago, there was a man living in the state of Israel, a Jew, by the way, named Jesus, who ended his poor life on the cross. And ever since then, the Christian world hasn't stopped blaming the Jews for his poor ending. With us, and we are talking here about one case, one body over 2,000 years ago, we are speaking about over 6 million bodies of our people just 70 years ago. Do you think something is wrong with our historical proportions? Let me assure you, once you move on from your single case, we'll reconsider. And she grew pale, and it brought an end to the discussion. But and I got a standing ovation for this answer. The story stayed with me. The questions, why doesn't the Israeli theater and Israeli society let go of the Holocaust, stayed with me, stays to this day. And I would really like to point out and maybe show via these examples, which I picked up, some answers. We really don't let go of the Holocaust. The Holocaust is very much still, as I said, popular. By the way, just to mention it, it's not only characteristic to Israeli theater, but to the German one as well. In the academia, we used to speak about writing or the Cain and Abel syndromes. Here we have writers, survivors and son of survivors, second generation, third generation from our side. And in Germany, the Holocaust also, there is a lot of dealing with the Holocaust in German dramaturgy as well. And they write from their own experiences and point of view.